Welcome to the Women's Health Community Podcast. We're here to remove the pressure of the gym bro culture within the health and fitness community. So if you're a wannabe muscle mummy like me, a Pilates princess, in your running era, or simply a woman who values her health and fitness, this podcast is for you. Join us each week as we chat with inspiring and motivating individuals from all walks of life, sharing their personal journeys and practical tips for living a healthier and more fulfilling life.
Let's do it.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Women's Health Community Podcast. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining us. If you're not new here, make sure you subscribe and rate the podcast 5 stars. If you haven't already seen as well, we have launched tickets to our 4th ever live event, which is on March 15th. So make sure you get your tickets to that to be able to join us. We have an epic panel and it is going to be an incredible day. But getting into today's podcast, I'm sure you've seen by the title, we have our first ever male guest. Controversial. Nah, it's fine. But welcome to the podcast, Matt. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
So we start every episode. I don't know if you've listened. It's been all females on the podcast. But we start every podcast episode with 4 questions. And then the 4th question is different to every single guest.
Okay.
So what is one non-negotiable in your day every single day?
Brush your teeth.
That's such a boy answer, I feel. Okay, what was your dream job growing up?
AFL football.
AFL football. Okay. Is that Alex playing music outside? It's all right. I'll just crop it out. What's your death row meal?
Burrito.
Literally
GYG
just
burrito
talking
bowl.
about it. He's got shares in GYG, so it has to be that.
It's definitely GYG.
But like, what would your specific order be?
Okay, so this is the go-to. It's a GYG burrito bowl.
Yeah.
Remove the black beans. Add chipotle mayo on top. And then 2 of the soft shell crispy chicken tender tacos.
They are my favorite. They're like the new ones that they just brought out.
Yeah, yeah.
They're the best thing on the GYG menu.
That's
100%.
Yeah. And then chips, of course.
100%.
100%.
Okay, and then the 4th question that's different to every single guest is if you could have one meal with a famous person and ask them any question as rogue as it could possibly be, who would it be and what would the question be? I thought you were going to say Drake straight off the bat.
You know what? Probably because I just went to see him.
Yeah.
I'd probably say Drake. And the question that I would ask him, just how he deals with like being the light of like you can't hide. So how would he deal with that?
Do you feel like celebrities though do kind of hide? I
Yeah,
feel like
100%.
it's so easy. They post what people want to see and then you don't really know anything else about
Yeah,
them.
100%. 100%.
That would be a really interesting lunch. Where do you reckon he would have lunch?
Oh, I feel like he'd be like a Nobu type of person.
Ugh, so overrated.
100%.
So overrated. Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know who you are, explain a little bit about what you do, who you are, and then also a little bit about like your hashtag TikTok fame. Because you are TikTok famous.
So I'm Matt. I am an online coach. I used to do face-to-face PT, and then obviously during COVID transitioned everything online, and it was probably one of the best decisions that ever made. It's a lot more scalable. You're not trading your time for money anymore, and you're able to scale and service a lot more people. I also co-own an activewear company, and then made some videos on TikTok and
just some little videos.
Yeah, it escalated to not yelling to now screaming at a camera, and everyone loves it. So
I don't know if we should probably clip that. And then clip your first ever video. I'll have to scroll back and find your first ever video.
It is the most cringeworthy thing ever. I looked at it probably a few weeks ago. I was showing someone and I could not watch it. I could not see it at all.
Would you ever just delete it?
No way. It was the first video that blew up. It was the first one I made.
Yeah.
And it was the first video that blew up.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like TikTok is so hard though. I feel like I just get stuck in this 200 view jail and I'm like, then I post something stupid and it'll get 150,000 views and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's TikTok for you. That's why with TikTok you just post whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
And don't think twice about it.
This is so off topic, but do you feel like when people say that TikTok is more relaxed content and then Instagram is more perfect content, you would agree with that?
100%, yeah. TikTok you don't care about aesthetic, you don't care about what it looks like. It's just a whatever. Whereas Instagram's your storefront. It has to look good, aesthetic.
That's
what I believe in.
Because I want to do TikTok style content across everything and brand myself like that for everything. I'm like, it just doesn't work that way.
Well, I was posting it to my TikTok content to Instagram, and I ended up hiding the reels from my main grid page because it just didn't look right.
Yeah. It's so interesting though that like the same people generally use both apps, but then it's received so differently.
It's so different.
I literally was watching, I was like to him, like, you're like the Aussie James Charles. I said that to you before we started recording, but I'm all over his TikTok at the moment. And he literally said the same thing. On TikTok, he gets so much love and praise and has this really big community, but then the same video on Instagram performs and he's like, I get hate, I get trolls, I get all of these things. It's so interesting.
Oh, there's mix on both platforms.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll get back into what we were talking about. So how long have you been coaching for?
Probably about 6 or so years now. Yeah.
And you coach both men and women?
Yeah, both male and female.
Do you have...
Predominantly females though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's more female based than male based.
That's really interesting. I really like... that's definitely one of the questions that I have, that you are someone who coaches a lot of females. Do you find that you have more like empathy towards them, or what do you think it is that you relate more to coaching women than you do to your male clients potentially?
So I think... Firstly, yeah, I'm probably more gentle and more understanding when it comes to coaching females. Obviously, you know, males and females are completely different people. Where I think it started off was when I was PTing on the gym floor. Females, in comparison to males, need a bit more care when they are getting into the gym, because obviously, you know, there's male attention that they're not really a fan of, and they just want to make to be feel they want to feel comfortable within the space. So I was really good at making them feel comfortable, like just pretend no one else is there, just you and myself, like coaching you, or just when you're there on your own, it's just you there. So headphones on, pretend no one else is there. I was really good at making them feel comfortable and just easing their way into the gym. And I think that just transitioned to like the online space as well. Just you have to be there, as we know, you be there for your clients. You can't do the work for them, but if you can make them feel comfortable enough to back themselves, then yeah, I think they're sweet.
Yeah, I think definitely that's something I face. I coach a lot of like girls who are just starting, like very much day one, never stepped foot in a gym before. And I think, like you said, making them feel comfortable to be able to just make the gym their own space, regardless of the potential male attention that they get, good or bad.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely not always good, especially for girls who are potentially somewhat overweight, who have no idea how to do a tricep extension or something as simple as a lat pull down or something. It's like, it's not always positive, but then to be able to make them feel comfortable would be something that would be really...
Oh, 100%. It's the most fulfilling thing. And that's why I got into coaching, because I love helping people. So being able to, you know, help these females be comfortable in a space where, not that it wasn't against the norm, but a space where it was more male dominant. And now seeing so many females in the gym, it's amazing. Yeah. It's awesome.
I literally blanked on what I was... Oh, there's a thing going around, and I've seen it a few times, that women are easier to coach than men. Would you agree?
Nah.
Really?
Nah.
There's like this whole saying that females will get the plan, essentially, and like follow the plan, and like they'll just do what they're told. Whereas guys like do more like the ego lifting, like I know what I'm doing, I don't need help kind of thing.
You know what? The guys that I coach, a majority of them are pretty good in terms of they follow the plan, and if they ask questions, they ask questions.
Imagine you said they were all shit, and then they all listen to this episode and they're like, "That's it, we're quitting."
No. All my like current clients, whatever. I'm very good with my client base. Everyone's very, very good. I've never really had a shit client per se.
Yep.
But
that's lucky for you.
Yeah. Look, there's been a handful of people, but nothing that's ever been a bad experience. Yep. You know, nothing a conversation can't solve. But with females, again, because I notice the ones that I do attract, because I do take my time and, you know, I'm very slow with them, make sure they understand everything. I do put a lot of time into them. I think they're the ones that just, you know, ask a lot of questions, or, you know, just need a little bit more care. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not going to say that they're hard to coach, but they're definitely more.
They require more.
They require a little bit more.
Okay, so that goes against the saying that...
Yeah, it's definitely against that saying. 100%.
Really? I thought you'd been like, yep, definitely. That's so interesting. And then what, so you've always worked with women, both online and in person, and then you've worked with males as well. Do you feel like you have more of a niche in terms of what you coach? Or is it like a more transformation, more of like a muscle building, or is it just kind of like gen pop, whoever wants to train, whoever wants to improve their life? You don't really kind of put yourself in one box.
Yeah, I never look. You know, when you're starting off, every coach that tells you what to do, whatever, they try and say pick your niche or whatever. But I always struggle with that because I don't want to coach people to compete. It's just, it's not my, like, there is people that do that and they're very good at that. And
That's their thing.
I've always referred out to do that. I like to help Gen Pop clients because I've been in that position before where you don't know where to go, or you might have an idea, but you don't know how to take that next step. So I'd rather work with people like that. So whether it is, you know, gaining muscle or whether it is losing fat, I don't like to broaden myself. I just help any Gen Pop that wants to just do better, achieve better, be better.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's who I like to work with. So it's more Gen Pop people.
Yeah,
100%.
and I think it's not a bad thing to be like, okay, I'm not a prep coach. This is who I would recommend. I've definitely done that with like multiple clients. Like one of my past clients and I for a while had the same coach because she wanted to compete and I don't do that. And I was like, this is who I would recommend. Up to you if you want to go with them. And I think it gives power to you to be able to be like, that's not my area of expertise. That's not where I'm passionate about. I'm not going to be doing that.
Yeah, 100%. No,
and
I
I
couldn't
think
agree
more
more.
people need to do that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I think people try to put too many hats on and there's no qualification and it does more bad than good.
No, couldn't agree more.
Full stop.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So I have a bit of a question for you. I mean, this whole podcast is questions, but if you saw a girl in the gym who was clearly new, as a guy, where obviously the gym is more a male dominant scene, not even industry, just like a scene, and you saw a girl who was very much new to the gym, she was probably slightly overweight and she was doing something very, very, very wrong in the gym, would you go up to her and help her, or would you like leave her to do her own thing?
I'd leave it for a little bit, but I would keep an eye out without being fucking creepy. But if I saw that there was potential of her hurting herself, would absolutely step in.
Yeah.
But I would do it in a gentle, like you have to do it in a gentle way.
Yeah. So I've definitely seen the non-gentle side. And this was probably when I was like very early to the gym. It didn't happen to me. It happened, I saw the situation happen. And it was like a girl was doing something in the gym. She was very new. We probably had started around the same time. And he literally just stood back and was like pointing and laughing at her. And it's a really big motivator to why I even started this podcast, this community. Was like, it's to break that whole gym bro stereotype that is only for them.
Yeah.
And I think it's really nice to hear that as someone who is very confident in the gym, who is very much your whole businesses, two of your businesses, and then your TikTok is based around motivation towards training and being better, to be like, no, I would actually go up and help her, not so much just watch her and like.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, look, yeah, like I said, the reason why I started coaching was to help people. I get enjoyment and thrill out of helping people, seeing people that, you know, before they come to you, they're in a position and then they leave and they're in a better position. Like it's fulfillment. So yeah, helping someone, absolutely. I wouldn't even think twice about it.
And then what would your advice be to a girl who potentially is that very much beginner, overweight, doesn't know how to do a simple exercise? What would your advice to her be? Say she goes into like a Derrimut gym where it is busy any time of the day. There isn't really a quiet period and she doesn't want to go in the female only gym. What would your advice be to her to be like, to be able to go in and do her workout and not fall like victim to being like, oh, this is for the boys and I can't be here? Would you have any advice?
Honestly, I'd probably say get a coach.
Yep.
Hire a PT. Or, like I wouldn't even online PT, sure, but when you're new to getting into a gym, a PT is someone that will help you keep feel safe in the gym until you are comfortable to go off on your own. That's probably what I would suggest 100%. Or bring a friend.
Yeah.
Bring a friend.
Just having that person there.
Yeah.
That is your
just having
person.
someone there makes all the difference in the world. Even like to me today, when you have someone like a mate there that you're training with or whatever, everything changes.
Yeah.
Just everything.
It becomes more of a safe space. And I think we train at the same gym and we see each other. It's like, you don't do the same session, but you're on the gym floor, you see each other, like you're
comfortable.
Yeah. It just becomes like your second home almost. And it's like, it's very concerning how much time, if I was to calculate in the week, how much time I spend at the gym, but it's like, it literally becomes your second home. And I think once people understand that it is a safe place for anyone to do whatever, perform whatever, feel however they want, I think that becomes a really freeing thing a freeing experience, freeing place for everyone to like actually improve.
And that's the beauty about it. Like, it's not even necessarily like a cult. It's just you become so comfortable, you meet people and, you know, everyone becomes like mates and it's a, like you enjoy then going to the gym because you better yourself, but then, you know, you know, like we go roughly all, like everyone goes at the same time. So you know
you
who's going to be
learn
there.
who's going to be there around those times.
So you know,
yeah.
you expect, you know who you're going to see. You know, you say hello, you become more comfortable. It's just, overall, it's good.
And then you get fully blown sad when you rock up and there's no one there to say
legit.
hi to. And you're like, fucking, I'm training with people I don't know, no one to
It
talk to.
starts in the car park. When you drive into the
And
car
you see
park
the
and you
cars.
just see the cars, you're like, you know who's here. And if you see no one, you're like,
If I see your blue car, if I see Amy's Kia, if I see Matt's Range Rover, I'm like, yes, it's going to be a good session. I'm like, yes, I love this. Yeah, it's definitely interesting because then even like my sister is someone who's just started training and she's at a different gym to what we train at. And she's like, it's like a cult in there. Like everyone knows everyone. They just talk all the time. I'm like, she would hate coming to our gym and just seeing
100%, yeah.
like all the talks that like happen that aren't even related to training or aren't even related to work or whatever. Like we talk about anything, but it's really nice that like I wish that more people would find that sooner or would have the confidence to be able to walk into that gym. Like I've only been at our gym for less than a year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I've only lived in Melbourne for over a year and I didn't join that gym straight away. So it's like I wish more girls had the confidence to be able to go into a gym and within under a year be able to have like have a community behind them that they support or that they can ask for help or can ask to come on the podcast or things like that. But it's I definitely want to build that up and build that confidence in girls throughout this podcast, and it's definitely something that I'm trying to do. But
100%, and it'll grow, it'll scale.
Yeah, hopefully.
It'll reach more people.
Everyone go to the gym and make friends. Okay, so another question. Have you ever heard of the tall poppy syndrome thing? It's definitely a conversation that I feel women, girls have a lot. And I feel like we are very good at doing that to each other and kind of like when one girl does really well, kind of like there's like a whole army of people trying to like chop her down at the knees to make her small and make her not do that thing because she's sort of something different. Do you think that that's something that is very common within like males, not even just within our industry, but just in general? Like I'm sure with like social media and obviously Juco Active and then your coaching, do you think that that's something that's as dominant with boys as it is girls?
Probably not as common with males. Definitely like more with, I've definitely seen it more with females, but tall poppy syndrome just in Australia as a whole is
horrible.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. I tried to explain this when I competed last year in Houston, tried to explain this to this guy over there who had like millions of followers. Like I had no idea who he was. And I think he liked that he could just talk to me and I had no idea who this guy was. And I tried to explain it to him, like, if you did something and like yourself, like your TikTok is doing very well. And I'm sure you would probably face projections in that in itself. But like over there, it's like you're doing really well. Then you would want your friend to do really well so you can do really well together. And then you want your whole friendship group to do really well. But here it's like, it's almost like a jealousy thing, or it's like we think because Australia is so small, not everyone can grow to that level.
Yeah, nah, 100%. 100%.
So you think that it is not as prevalent with males, but it still happens?
Yeah, definitely.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you faced any like projections within, like what's like something that's happened that you're just kind of like, what the actual heck?
It not coaching related, but TikTok related, 100%.
Like comments, like hate comments, or more like?
Oh, there's always hate comments. There's always, you know, messages that I've received. I'm good at ignoring it.
Yeah,
but
okay.
Like even people you think are mates.
Really?
Yeah.
That would be like, I would crumble. I don't even know how.
I don't crumble, I just don't forget.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
I won't forget. I got a very good memory. It's really bad.
Would you be the person to like confront someone, or you just kind of let them do what they want, let them say what they want, and then?
If they're close to me, then I would have no shame in like.
Really?
Yeah. But if you're not, like if you're just an extended friend or an acquaintance or whatever, then it's all right. Everyone's got an opinion. Yeah, everyone's entitled to an opinion.
Yeah,
100%.
definitely fair. And then do you feel like I feel like it always, this whole tall poppy thing, and I'm like, I actually hate the saying. Like I hate the name of it. I hate everything about it. I hate what it means. I wish it was like another thing, like whatever. But I'm just like, it always, in my opinion, comes from a place of jealousy.
That's
jealousy and laziness, I want to say, because it's like you're jealous of your success, but then you're also lazy to do the work that you've done to build that success.
100%.
It's so interesting to me. I asked you before we started this podcast if you would ever move to America. Would you do it?
Not full time. I'd move for the tiniest bit, like I said, 2 to 3 months, maybe max. But home, like Melbourne's home.
Yeah. Have you been to America?
Yeah.
Have you seen the difference in how Were you on TikTok when you were in America? No. Okay. I'm wondering now if you were to go back with like your following and your brand that you have now, how you would feel, if you would feel different in the sense of like you're more inspired to create content over there, whereas here you're kind of like, I see it all the time with content creators as well. Like they'll be filming a video in their car and someone walks past and then they go to hide. But in America, like you walk past everyone. Like I remember so distinctly in the Walmart car park in Houston in Sugarland, there was this guy in his car and he was filming content and he was like, had a full fucking vlogging camera. I walked past and he was like, and he just kept going. He like waved to me, kept going. I was like, here, I'm like, you would literally like my phone. I try and film this one little video in my car, like talking about motivation or like something not even big deal, but it's like I would throw my phone and drive. Like I would panic. Yeah,
no, over there, look, everyone's got a camera over there. Everyone films everything over there. So I think it would be, from a content perspective, it would be absolutely incredible over there. So yeah, I don't know. It could definitely be different. I'm definitely keen and due to go back. Yeah, I'll have to let you know how it goes.
Maybe we should make that happen this year. That's what you should have done. Wasn't Drake giving people money for at his concert?
Yeah, I wasn't going to walk in with a sign. I bought a last minute ticket 6 hours before the show, 7 hours before the show.
You should have bought a sign being like, can I come on tour with you for the year?
That would have been so good.
That would have been a good sign.
Yeah, that's like just life changing.
Do you reckon people fake those things?
Oh, you know what I was thinking about it? I was actually thinking like, do people
fake it?
Because there was a girl there that got her gender reveal
Yeah,
done.
I saw this on TikTok.
And like I was at that show and I'm like, I'm sure she's not. I'm 100% she's not.
No, I found her on TikTok. She is pregnant.
Yeah, but like someone would probably like do that.
Fake it.
There was like one about
a ring?
Nah, I think that looked real. Because yeah, that was last night I think. But there was another one about his mum opening up a kebab shop. I'm like, is she really opening up a kebab shop?
Is she really opening a kebab shop?
Like I don't know.
He's giving people 50 grand. So whether it's 50 grand for a fake kebab shop or 50 grand for my soon-to-be child, I'd be like, I'll take 50 grand.
But that is like nothing for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had an idea. I found out through a couple of people that how much he was roughly making.
Should we Google it right now?
It's about 4 million per show he's making.
Wait, let's look up Drake net worth. I've been doing this to everyone lately. I don't have
But his
internet.
network's not right on that.
I don't have internet, so I'm not doing it anyway.
So his net worth's over $1 billion, but on there it'll say about I think 3-something million.
Wow.
But apparently, from what I found out, that he just doesn't
make
want
about $4 million a show.
$4 million a show, yeah.
Well, that was like Taylor Swift in her tour. I looked it up then as well, how much she was making, something like $12 million a show.
Oh my God.
So you think if you're making $4 million or $12 million, give away like 100 grand per show.
Nothing.
It's not even like the tiniest little fraction of your show.
It's nothing.
Oh, that would be such good money. You would never see me again, honestly. Anyway.
Talk about forgetting people when you make it.
Yeah, guys, if I was making $4 million a show, and I'd have my husband with me, I'd probably bring I would hide, when you get see famous people and they still have their really close friends from childhood, they would come with me, and then all you other fuckers, I'd be like, see you later. Honestly. I reckon I'd I don't know what I would do with that. What would you do? What would be the first thing you'd do if you had so you think he did 5 shows, 4, 8, 12, 16, $24 million in 5 days?
I don't know. Actually, I do know.
What?
I would invest the money firstly.
Oh, see, that's a smart option. I wouldn't do that.
I would put a majority of it in, I'd reinvest it somewhere, whether it's property or whatever it is.
That's why you're about to buy a house tonight.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, I'd probably treat everyone that came with me.
Yeah, fair.
I don't know. I always said, once I make it, everyone that's close to me will be gifted, rewarded.
Yeah.
For sticking by my side. 100%.
Yeah. That's. Am I by your side? Would I be on that list?
Yeah, everyone's going to be by my
side. Thank you. Me, I'm like, yeah, fuck you, I'm
yeah,
going.
no,
You're
bad.
like, me, I'll speak.
Yeah,
but
bad.
are you going to give me money too? Oh, God. But so, bit of another pivot here. Since growing your following and I'm sure people would know who you are, you would have people coming up to you and all that sort of stuff. Do you feel like you have this pressure or self-appointed pressure or society-appointed pressure to act and maintain and present yourself or have this image? Or do you feel like you don't really fall victim to that and you kind of can just be yourself because you are yourself through your content?
I'm definitely myself. That doesn't change. But I didn't click for me until I had people coming up to me, especially when I
Really?
went to Europe last year.
Really?
When I had people come up to me there, I'm like, okay, I have to actually like somewhat watch how I am.
Yeah.
Like, you could still be yourself or whatever, but you know, if you want to do something fun with your mates or whatever, you sort of
Be careful.
be careful a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm very like aware of my surroundings anyway. But you sort of did have to be like, you end up becoming a little bit more like
Aware.
that. Yeah.
That's really crazy. Like people coming up to you in Europe
Yeah.
and you're a guy from Melbourne filming a video in his car,
Literally.
getting scared if someone walks past.
Literally, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Where was this in Europe?
All over London, Mykonos, it happened a lot. Ibiza.
That's
Yeah.
wild. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was. That's when it hit me that it was like, okay, well, it's not
a big
just
deal,
it's not just
yeah.
Australia. It's like everywhere.
I find it wild that people from across like Sydney, Gold Coast listen to this podcast and they message me. I'm like, I couldn't imagine people overseas like recognizing you for your face.
Yeah.
Like to me, that's crazy.
Oh yeah, Bali as well. Like, yeah, there's a lot. You get approached quite a bit.
Yeah.
So like you want to have like you have fun. Like I remember I was out for my birthday and someone messaged me from like not someone messaged me. I was out for my birthday and someone came up to me. It was like this 18-year-old kid or whatever, and was just so happy to see me. I ended up just giving him money to just go buy himself and he's made some drinks.
Oh, stop.
Because it made my day. It made my like birthday because
Yeah.
he recognized me and I'm like, no, fuck it.
Yeah, I have 100.
no,
Have
literally.
4 million. Oh, that
That
would
was
be.
good.
I think it's happened to me twice. Once it was like I was in a change room having a meltdown because the dress I tried on didn't fit me, and then this girl recognized my husband and then recognized me. Like that was wild to me, and I was like,
That's
I
crazy.
couldn't imagine that happening on a larger scale.
Yeah, it's definitely like I don't give a fuck who you are. It's definitely like an ego boost. But if you're already a somewhat of a humble person, it just makes you more like, yeah, you got a big head, like you just got this massive smile. So like me, for example, I'm a very giving person. So you know that saying, the more of something that you got, like for example, money, the more money you have, if you're a prick, you're going to be more of a prick. If you're a giving person, you're going to be more giving.
It enhances what you already are.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So, you know, when you get that little bit of attention or whatever, you're like, fuck, like I want to give that out to people. So, you know, your energy or, you know, literally like I didn't need to, but when he came out to me, I was so happy. I'm like, bro, go buy you and your mates drinks. Like,
And I think as well, it's also like, I'm sure you were brought up in a very similar way to I was, like a very, like, I don't want to say strict because obviously I don't know how you were brought up, but like with like the Wog parents, you have a sister. I don't know how your sister is, but I know that my sister will be the first person if I'm starting to get like a little bit cocky or I'm like, oh, I hit 2,000 downloads on my podcast, like I'm the best. They're like, fucking relax, like you're nobody. Like they'll be the first people to bring you back down, or like even your friends, like they'll just be the first people to like bring you back to reality and be like, I'm still this person, despite your impact or your footprint being so much larger than just like the northern suburbs in Melbourne. Like it's just so much bigger than that. But then you've also got your people that keep you grounded.
yeah.
Or if you're starting to like drift a little bit, they'll bring you back and be like, hold on, like pull it in a little bit.
Yeah. I think my family sort of pull me in. My mates, especially
They probably love it. They're probably waiting for you to make the 24 million in 5 days.
Definitely they are. They would, again, just because I didn't know how to react to it all, they would be the ones that would G me up even more. But I'm just like, I'm just
the
Matt
same.
from Melbourne. Like it's
Yeah.
nothing. I just do it.
Yeah.
Like
fair.
I never realized the impact on people that I had
Yeah.
until, you know, people would come up and even the comments and messages like daily, like especially when I was very consistent with it. On a daily basis, I would have, I don't even want to like exaggerate, but anywhere from probably 20 to maybe 30 messages, just how thankful they are. And then, you know, then that grew, then it became to like 30, 40, 50 messages a day. The DM, it was just, I was scrolling.
That's
I was
crazy. And then I feel like that in itself would outweigh any negative comment that you ever heard about yourself. Like whether it's a comment from someone you don't know on your video being like, what the fuck is this? Or potentially a projection that you hear from a friend, quote unquote, that's not really a friend making a shitty comment about you. But it's just like those messages knowing that you're helping someone. Like even, I don't even want to compare my content because it's like we have such different audiences and such different reach and all of this sort of stuff. But like I'll get like 5,000 views on a video and have some really nice comments. And I'm just like, that inspires me to keep creating content for 5,000 people. And then like this scale in itself would just motivate you to keep doing more and being better and leveling yourself up. And I feel like that would be such a rewarding process in itself.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But the amount of views and stuff that you get, like, I never really got. There was only a small period of time where I got sucked in a little bit, where if a video didn't perform, I was very down. Not very down, but I'm like, oh fuck, like, should I delete it?
Yeah.
The best thing that I ever did was just post it and then just leave it. Don't look at it.
Yeah.
So even like a lot of the comments I can't get to, just because there's too many, and then I just go, okay, well it's done now, whatever.
Yeah.
But I saw this thing, and then that put views into perspective for me. It was, you only get 100 views, but then if you actually look at what 100 people in a room looks like, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
1,000 people, it might be like, oh, that's not a lot. That's not a lot of views. But you put 1,000 people in a room, and you go, wow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah. I think our last live event was like 60 something girls in total. And I was like, I look at the photo, I'm like, that's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
And then if I think about 2,000 people that are listening to this podcast, I put 2,000 people in a stadium or in a space, and I have to do a live podcast in front of them, I'd fucking buckle. Because that's a lot of 100%. Eyes.
The best way to put it is the Dre concert.
Yeah.
There was 15 or 16,000 people.
Insane.
Like, if you think of every single person has viewed, and that's 16,000 views, like, yeah, it could be a big number, could be a small number to people, but imagine doing, like exactly what you said, imagine doing a podcast live to 15,000 people. That's a lot of people.
I couldn't do it. I don't know if you've ever seen the video of me trying to intro this podcast the first ever time.
No, I don't think I have.
I literally sweat through my shirt. The fact that I'm now at like episode 11, I'm able to film an episode, not sweat, not panic, be able to get my words out. It took me an hour and 20 minutes to record a 20-minute episode.
No way.
That's how much editing Alex had to do to get all of this like bullshit words out. And I'm like, I can't do this. But like, to be able to then potentially one day, hopefully be able to do a live episode in front of 2,000 people, that would be like a dream, and that would be insane.
Awesome.
That would be crazy.
Awesome. 100%.
But I'm just, like I said though, like going back, those comments, I'm sure for you, is what continues you to make content, because ultimately in Australia, we don't benefit off the content. There is no financial gain. There is no sponsorships out of it. I'm thinking, I may be wrong, but there's nothing that actually directly comes out of it that goes into your pocket. Yeah,
correct. Like, there's sponsorships and companies that reach out to you. Like, I've worked with, Universal Studios, how they've got the Universal Music Group.
Oh, yeah.
So it's where Justin Bieber was signed to, I don't know which other celebrities.
If you get tickets to Justin Bieber, please.
No, I'm not. I don't work with them anymore, but I did work with them. I've worked with Monster. So I've worked with these companies. They don't, Universal paid me, but TikTok for views, they do not pay you.
But like so like in Australia, it's like you either make content out of the pure joy of creating, or the pure satisfaction of knowing that your content is helping someone, which is in your case what I believe that it would be. Whereas in America, it's like there's financial gain.
Yeah, 100%.
There's 100% financial gain to being consistent and posting.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, if you got a business where, like, my coaching's done very well off of the back of the exposure from that.
Yeah.
Duco's benefited from that as well. There's definitely pros to doing it, but it would be nice to benefit from it financially with the hundreds and the 100,000s, millions of views that you do get on a monthly basis.
So I think from this, what we learn, you move to America for 3 months, get a social security number, set up your TikTok, and then come back.
Can I get paid still here, but if I still make him here?
Yeah, because your TikTok account is registered in America.
No, we're back. I'm going to go book a flight.
You'll report back. I'll report back on the Instagram page if Matt's moving to America. Yeah. We've probably just ruined all chances of you getting approved by putting this out there. So I'm very sorry. We'll probably blurt this out if you're going. We'll delete this from the internet if you're going for your visa or application process. But so you mentioned Duco, and how many? So it's a male-run brand. There is four of you, and you also. So something I really like about it is that you are doing both female and male active, whereas I feel like it would be very easy for guys to become experts at male activewear and not focus on the females at all. So was it always going to be both male and female?
Yeah, straight from the start.
Really?
Yeah.
And then what is like, so my sister works in the fashion industry and I've spoken to her about it a few times. She goes, you always need to have your point of difference to make people buy your brand. And what do you think that would be specifically for Duco? Do you think that you guys would have it more so that you are just like your local Melbourne guys, or do you have a specific feeling that you want to provoke within the brand?
It's more the community initially.
Yeah.
And like, you know, with anything that you start off, you're investing in the people who own it. And we had a really good start with a lot of people supporting us and whatnot. And then off of the back of that, it's obviously, you know, exposure through, you know, paid marketing, Facebook ads, all that sort of stuff that helps you expand. But if you don't have a good team or, you know, a good product per se, then there's no point. So we do pride ourselves in the product that we do release. We have made a lot of mistakes, a lot of financial mistakes. And I've spoken about this before on other podcasts, and like just straight off the bat before we even launched, we lost 60 grand because of a trademark issue, just straight off the bat. Jeez. And then there was more, the boys, like Jamie and Phil that started it before Kosh and I got involved, they lost another 20 odd grand. And then
that's
when
80 grand right there.
Yeah. We are 6 figures into it. Well and truly 6 figures into it.
Wow.
Like before any, like making any money or whatever, it was a big hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you feel like now you guys have found your feet? I feel like your community is building. You guys have sponsored our live events before. Do you feel like your community is growing now equally? Your brand is growing now?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
then your ranges are growing as well?
Yeah, it's obviously it's a very saturated market.
Yep.
And because it's not the sole thing that we focus on, we've got our own things outside of it. I think if we put all of our eggs in this basket, it can really very rapidly go in another direction.
Crazy directions, yeah.
But we are happy with where it is, but obviously we want to achieve a lot more with it, without a doubt. So it's definitely, the community definitely has grown, but it's now just getting it to that next level.
And do you feel like that's something now collectively you all are a little bit more focused on? I know you can't speak for the other boys, but is that something that this year or within like the next like 5 years you've potentially got like a new
it's definitely a long-term goal. It's not a like even a year, like a year's too short.
Really?
Yeah. So it's more like a 5 year. I have
no idea how this whole fashion industry works. Like,
you know what? Before I got into it, I had no idea.
No idea. Like my sister, literally, this is what she does. Like she designs things for brands and like helps like products and all this sort of stuff. I know now she's doing stuff like next year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but what do you mean? Like, what about this year? She goes, oh, this year was done like at the start of last year. I'm like, it's crazy. So true. It makes sense in saying that. It's like what you plan for this year won't be for this year. It'll be for 2026, 2027, which is crazy to think about.
And we're still getting better at that sort of planning with it. Like we do have pretty much the entire year already planned.
That's crazy.
There's a little bit towards the back end that we're going to like sort of touch up or whatever. But yeah, you have to be well and truly prepared. Yeah. Because it takes time. By the time, you know, you perfect the product, because we design the product. So by the time you perfect the product, you sample it, you get your bulk shipment, you do your photo shoots, you send it out. It's a long, long process. Yeah,
definitely as someone looking out in, I'm definitely would say that your guys' niche would be your community, like you said. I feel like everywhere you go, you have your athletes with you, you have people at your stands, you have people wearing your clothes, you have people posting your brand. Like, I think that's a really... Personally, that's a brand that I would support, whereas like you actually care about the people you're creating the product for. Whereas like you look at like, I mean, you can't really hang shit on Nike or like Lululemon because they are like the elite of the activewear, but it's like they don't care who they're creating product for. Like they know people are going to buy it regardless.
100%.
So I think creating that really unique community and then customizing everything for that and like keeping it relevant for that, I think would be a really unique thing. 100%. I would say,
And we try and get, especially the athletes and influencers, involved as much as we can. So obviously, you know, 4 guys running a female-focused activewear brand, we're not wearing the products. So we need feedback from our family.
That could be a unique marketing.
Well, 100%. So that's one thing that we do want to touch more into in terms of a content perspective is film, because we do it anyway, but film getting others involved to help with it. So, you know, athletes getting their, like the female opinions, family getting their opinions. Yeah. You know, customers, like they'll leave reviews, they'll send us feedback or whatever. So yeah, filming more of that stuff is definitely a focus point.
Yeah.
100%.
I definitely don't know how you run an online coaching business and an activewear business and then your own brand in general. I'm like, that's a lot on your plate.
Yeah, it is a lot.
How do you like time management?
Just organization.
We literally had this conversation this morning in the gym. I'm like, what time do you go to bed? Your answer, when the work's done. I was like, everyone hangs shit on me for going to bed at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, sometimes I'm eating dinner at 10. It just depends. It honestly just depends.
Really? So you just work? But it would be fun.
You know what? Again, like as coaches, we love what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I walk out somewhere or I'm in a different state or whatever and I see someone in Duco, I can't explain the feeling. It's the best thing ever. So it drives you even more.
Yeah.
You know, even my own personal brand, when you walk out and people recognize you, it inspires you and you love doing it. So you keep doing more of it.
Yeah.
So that's literally what it is. The three things are definitely like it. You do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You do what you got to do.
So as someone who has like your successful businesses, do you feel like from where you were potentially 6 years ago before you started coaching, before you were in on Duco, before you had your TikTok following, do you feel like from then to now your definition of success and what success looks like to you has changed?
Yeah.
What do you think it was before?
Before I thought success was, and look, my family, whatever, like my dad came from a different country, worked 50 cents an hour, no less, sorry. I think it was like 50 cents an hour in a milk bar as soon as he landed. And now he's done very, very well for himself.
Yeah.
So my definition of success was like money.
Yeah. Which I think it is for a lot of people. Like that's not even a bad thing
and
to
it
say.
still is 100%. It still is ultimately like you want that freedom. But at the same time, as we said before, like it's hard to, if you're going to go balls to the wall with, you know, chasing that money or whatever, you can lose yourself, people, your own sanity in the process. So what I found is the definition of success is, you know, of course, making money and making enough of it to,
to live freely,
to
to
live
not
freely,
have that
100%.
anxiety of like money. How am I going to be able to afford my rent the next week? All of these
100%.
things. And I'm like, that in itself, when people say, oh, money doesn't matter, I'm like, but it does, because it is your currency to life.
100%.
And I don't think that there is a bad thing in wanting to have financial success. But I think, like we were just saying before this podcast, we're saying financial success at what cost?
Exactly right. And that's what I mean. You can't put a price on your mental health, all that sort of stuff. For me, if you're rich and successful, it's, you know, you got a roof over your head, you've got loved ones around you, friends, family, you know, you're healthy. And then of course, like money as well. Because I definitely agree. I always heard that sayings, you know, money doesn't buy you happiness. But the only people that ever said that were people that
had money.
That don't have money.
Oh, really?
So people who ever says money doesn't buy happiness is people that don't have money or don't want to chase it.
Yeah.
Because people who have money, anyone that like you ask, or even us now, it doesn't buy you happiness, but it buys you freedom.
Yeah.
And freedom is happiness. Like if you want to do whatever, we want to book a holiday tomorrow, you can do so, you're happy. You don't have to worry about next week.
What time is it? It's 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. Most people would be finishing up their work week, hating their next couple of hours. They're in a slog in the city, working in a high-rise building. We're in a studio in the middle of like a suburb that I'm actually low-key scared to be in. But it's like that is freedom. That is happiness. It doesn't mean happiness in the sense of physical things, but it's like we have the ability to talk here for an hour and just talk about nothing that serious in the grand scheme of things. But it's like that is freedom, that is happiness, and that is something that financially we are lucky enough to be able to do. And to me, that's happiness.
100%.
I think definitely when I was first starting out in this industry, I had a lot of success really quickly. And I definitely fell into the whole, like, I'm going to go buy a Louis Vuitton bag every 6 months. And I have a great collection of bags at the moment. But it's like, looking back now, 5 years into my business, 6 years into coaching, I'm just like, fuck, I wish I didn't do any of that. Because I'm just like, that now could be so much different. And I think it's something that, like you said, as you grow within business, as you mature, all of these things, that definition of success does change. And I think
100%.
Yeah, I definitely think if more people understood financial gain isn't a bad thing to chase, but it's like, what cost?
100%.
Yeah, interesting. You mentioned, this isn't even a question that I had written down, but you mentioned like your mental health and stuff like that. do you think, I'm someone who is very passionate about men's mental health, and I'm very passionate about, I really have an issue with the saying like be a man or man up. Do you feel like that's something that is changing? I mean, I can't speak for like a man or a guy, clearly, but it's like, do you feel like that's something that you see as your content is very based around like motivation and based around like being better, doing better, acting better, feeling better? Do you feel like that's something that is changing? There is a shift in that?
Yeah, there definitely is, especially as like, you know, generations go on and whatnot. You know, that hard-ass masculine.
Our parents' generation, yeah, working for 50 cents an hour to put food on the table for your kids.
It's definitely has changed.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the way I look at it is that, like, you know, we're all humans. We all have feelings. We all go through things. Like I went through, as like you guys know that are close to me, I went through my own little sort of dark place probably about a year and a bit ago. Like a very, very dark place, and it took a lot to get out of it. But you have to, you know, feel what you feel. Don't be afraid to be open. Because one thing about me is I like to keep, and I don't know if it's because I grew up with, obviously, you know, a sister and whatnot, you keep things to yourself just to be that man of the house or that man for them or whatever. And which is not a problem at all. Like you still do that, but don't also be afraid to be in touch with your emotions. You're a human at the end of the day. Like we all experience things. We all feel things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think for me, a really confronting thing that I ever saw was a fully grown man break down crying in front of me. And I think the moment I saw that, I was just like, I will never put that expectation on just be a man or man up. I'm like, to me, that burns me, because I'm like, where did it come that women were the only ones that were allowed to struggle? And I'm like, I don't know if this is going to like upset some people by saying it, but I think we forget that, like you said, everyone is human. Everyone goes through things. Everyone has struggles. Everyone goes to dark places, and it's not just women that go through it. And I'm really like, I would like there to be more available, which is why I really like your content, because I feel like it is, I would say, a large following. Is it mostly men, I'm assuming?
Nah, it's probably a half.
Really?
I don't know, actually. Last time I checked, it was about
50-50.
55-45.
Wow. So like mine is like, I'm going to say like I'm like 5% men.
Oh, really?
I'm very strongly female dominated audience, which I'm very grateful for.
Is it different for TikTok and Instagram?
I've never checked on TikTok.
See, my Instagram's more, I think it's about 60-40 female, or a little bit, it was more females.
Yeah,
I know that for a
okay.
fact. TikTok, I think, was like more half-half. It was very similar.
Yeah.
Like that 55-45, whatever.
Yeah.
Females are definitely like, there's a little bit more on Instagram, I've noticed.
So they're all just waiting for the moment for you to be like, slide in, ladies.
I don't even want to explain the things that I've been sent.
Oh, I don't even want to know.
Yeah, I don't even want to.
But we're not even going to open that can of worms.
No,
but I feel like,
don't.
I feel like, but like your content is a part of the movement, and I think I would say a part of the change of allowing male mental health to be more spoken about and more understood and not suppressed. And I think that's something that definitely in 2025 I want to see more of and to do more of. And I think, like you said, I'm glad that you recognize that.
Yeah, no, 100%. Look, my content is also, you know, fuck how you, like sometimes it's just a hard truth. Fuck how you feel. Like your goals don't care about how you feel, or you know, whatever situation you're going through, whatever, like you'll get through it. It's sometimes I can have a really harsh message, but it's a hard truth. And I know that because when I was going through my own shit, I looked at my own videos because I'm like, fuck, like
I said this once upon a time.
I said this, and I said it for a reason. And I look back and I go, okay, this is the reason. But then I also do want people to open up. I do encourage the talk. Again, I can't tell you, there's been thousands and thousands of messages from both males and females that I've saved their life, or, you know, what I've said's helped them, or
that's insane.
It's crazy. That kept me going.
That
and
is
I know
insane.
people don't like my content. I know friends don't like my content. I've been told, even recently, people don't like my content, but it's not for everyone. I understand that. Yeah. But it's not for those people that don't like it. It's for the people who can be like look at it and be like, okay, you know what? I was having a shit day. This has made me smile, or, you know.
This was a harsh truth that no one else in my circle would tell me.
Yes.
No one else told me that stop sitting in my bread. What the fuck? Stop sitting in my bed and crying over someone that's left, or crying over something that's hurt me, or crying over a hardship that you're facing, and just get the fuck up and go. And I definitely think that there was once upon a time that I needed to hear that as well. This was like before I was even a coach or anything like that. But like there was a time where I was like, I had one person, and I've spoken about it, my brother-in-law on this podcast before. He was like, you need to go. You need to go and buy your ticket. You need to go overseas. So within 7 days, I had gone to America for 2 months.
Wow.
And it was literally, you just sometimes need that one person, and not everyone is lucky enough to get that within their immediate family, within their immediate circle. And you are that person for some people. And that it's like also that cringe saying of like, if I help 1%, one person, but it's like, if someone's told you you've saved their life, helping one person is a big fucking deal in that situation.
Yeah.
Not even in my situation where it's I'm educating. Like you're being told you're saving someone's life. That's literally pulling someone off the ledge.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah, I can't remember where I was because it's happened so many times now, but I remember the first time that it happened. I remember I was sitting down, I read it, and I didn't know whether to smile or like
cry.
Yeah, like be upset.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it was a very weird feeling reading that message. But afterwards, when I did look over it again, I was just like, that again, you don't realize the impact you have on someone until they bring it literally on a fucking plate to you and say, "This is what you've done for me." It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
Like you're saying it to me, right? And I'm like, yeah, I help women feel great about their body or be able to conceive and have a child. But I'm like, to me, I actually can't process how that would feel. I physically cannot think about how that would feel. Yeah. And it would just be such a unique experience.
It honestly, it's a very unique experience, 100%.
Yeah. So like you said, though, a big focus around your content sometimes is that harsh truth. And then like you've also mentioned that you were in that place once upon a time as well. So when you were in that place, we don't need to obviously touch too deep into it, but what was something that you found that almost pushed you to keep going and to not settle for being that unhappy version of yourself? Like, what was the actual message that you would have told yourself to actually be able to get yourself out of there? Because at the end of the day, it falls back on you to be able to get yourself out of a dark place.
It's just how much you're willing to tolerate. And in my nature, I'm an all in or nothing person. Yeah. So yeah, you make judgments probably not based on you don't make the right decision based on you what's actually good for you in the moment. It's just you're blinded by just one thing and one thing only, and you just want to try and chase that and fix it, whatever it is. But sometimes you just got to take your like if it would never happen to me again, but if it did or I saw it, I would literally just tell that person, take a step back and try and look at everything from a wider lens, and then ask yourself the hard questions like, is it really worth it? Is it worth your own, like at some point you have to put a value on your own self-respect. Yeah. And I let it all fucking go, and I can talk about it because I went through it. Yeah. Like I had no self-respect for myself. It was just, I went into a very fucking deep, dark hole.
But I feel like also you can talk about it now because you went through that. You went to that dark place. You got yourself out of it, and you said to me before, you're like, I found myself again. Yeah. And I feel like if we were having this conversation maybe a year ago, you'd be like, Georgia, I can't talk about this.
Yeah, no, like I probably, yeah.
Or you'd be like, nah, there's nothing wrong, like I'm fine. But you're probably like, now you've gone through it, you've felt it, you've done it, you've dealt with it, you've got yourself out of it, so you can recognize the growth.
And I'm literally the happiest I've ever been.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. Like everything.
Crazy but positive.
It's amazing. It's extremely positive. And everything has flourished since getting that spark back. Like business has done amazing. I've gone on holidays, haven't even thought twice about it. I'm healthy. I'm happy. I got again, good family, good friends. There's things that that are exciting that are going to be happening. So, yeah, you have to. I had to go through a really dark period to recognize that. Unfortunately, I went too dark, but I got myself out, and I have a lot of people to thank for that. A lot of friends and family that, I probably didn't listen to them enough, but
you never do.
You never do.
You never
have
do.
look. You have to. It's like, when you're a little kid, you get told not to touch something. You want to touch it. Like you have to do it to find out for yourself.
Yeah, it's like don't touch the candle.
Yeah.
Don't touch the birthday cake candle.
Exactly
you have
right.
to touch it.
You have to touch it. So
Yeah.
that's what I had to do. I had to go through things that I was not supposed to go through in order to realize and recognize my own self-worth, self-worth. And yeah, now I'm flourishing. So that's good.
Now you're good. So taking a little bit of a pivot, we're nearly finished. I've got 2 questions left. So how do you think people can develop an identity that carries them through when their motivation runs out?
Remind yourself of your why. Like, what's your why? We all, everything's done with intent. What I've realized especially is everything's done with intent. So there was intent behind starting something. There was a why. Go back to that why. Because it doesn't matter how you feel, that why, achieving that, doesn't give a fuck, doesn't care. We have, you're competing. The judges don't give a fuck how you feel. They don't care at all. But you have to do whatever it takes to get ready for that stage. It's the exact same with anything. Anything in life that you like, motivation's merely just a feeling. And I tell my clients all the time, it is a feeling. And I tell all, like on TikTok, because I've done so many videos on it, it is just a feeling. No one cares how you feel. No one cares whether you're motivated today. No one cares. So referring back to your why and your goal and how you're going to get there, even if you can't give 100% every day and you can only give 20 or 30.
Give the 20 or 30.
Give that 20 or 30 because that was your 100% for that day. So just the best thing is just remind yourself of your why.
Yeah.
What's your why? What's your goal? What do you want to achieve?
That's a good answer. And then final question. We've literally been talking for an hour, which feels crazy. But if you could give someone 3 rules or 3 pieces of advice to follow that will equally transform their mindset and their physique, so literally combining your 3 worlds into 2 or into 1, that does not make 3 worlds into 2. That's fucking stupid. 3 worlds into 1, what would those advice be? So 3 pieces of advice. I completely fucked that question, by the way.
I think I got an idea. I would say, so 3 pieces of advice.
Yep.
I would say do what makes you happy and fulfilled. And that, again, physically, if you feel happy or whatever, you can work on that mentally as well. You're the average of the 5 close people that you hang around.
Yep.
Fuck, I don't know the last one now.
Gee, the fuck up. I've been waiting all episode to find somewhere to put that in. We've got our monster cans here.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. I don't know. I actually don't know what a third one, to be honest.
So 2 pieces.
I would just say, those 2 pieces of advice.
And then
is
I
do
feel
what
like
makes you happy and
reflecting
fulfilled.
on your why and having a why.
And
So-
referring back to that as well, 100%. Because that's what will drive you, 100%.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that was a really good episode. Minus me fucking up a few questions, fucking up my words a little bit. It's been a long day. It's been a long week.
It has been a long
But
week.
Thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
We will maybe get the rest of the Duco boys in.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Maybe every 11th episode we'll get a Duco boy in. That gives us 4 months worth of male guests on this podcast.
No, that's fine. I'll let them know.
Thank you so much. But thank you so much, guys, for listening. Make sure you rate the podcast 5 stars. Share this with someone who you think would benefit from something that was spoken about today. And just a reminder as well, we do have our live event on March 15th, and hopefully we see you guys there. But for now, that's it. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.